Welcome everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where the most ordinary looking pieces of change in your pocket could turn out to be worth an unimaginable fortune. And today we're going to explore a jaw-dropping story that's almost too incredible to believe, the 1997 1-cent coin that has been valued at a staggering $18 million because of a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique circumstances that set it apart from millions of other pennies struck in the same year. And as we unravel the details, you'll see how this humble copper-plated zinc coin, minted at the Denver Mint and carrying the small D mint mark, could become one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. So settle in, because we're about to travel through history, coin production techniques, numismatic mysteries, and the thrilling chase that collectors undertake to find one of these rare treasures, starting with the context of the 1997 D penny itself, which was part of the standard Lincoln cent series featuring the bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been in place since 1959. Now by 1997 the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies per year, and quality control, while highly advanced, could still allow small mistakes to slip through, but sometimes those mistakes are so rare, so unusual, and so distinctive that they create coins unlike any others, coins that become legends in the collecting world. And the 1997 D penny in question is precisely such a coin, with a range of potential errors contributing to its astronomical valuation, including striking errors like double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchet strikes, and more subtle varieties like repunched mint marks or die cracks. And while any one of these can increase a coin's value significantly, it's the extreme rarity and combination of such errors on a single coin that can drive its price into the millions. For instance, imagine a 1997 D penny struck on a 95% copper planchet leftover from before 1982 instead of the standard zinc core, instantly making it a wrong planchet error that collectors salivate over. And if on top of that it were a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile and the date are clearly doubled to the naked eye, that would already push the coin into legendary territory. Then add perhaps a die cap error where the coin stuck to the die and struck several more coins, creating a domed, ghost-like image, or a significant off-center strike of 50% or more, revealing a large blank crescent of metal, and you can see how each element layers rarity upon rarity. Now consider also the historical context. The Denver Mint in the 1990s was known for producing a few interesting varieties, but such an extreme error combination would be virtually impossible under normal circumstances, leading some to believe that the 1997 D $18 million penny might have been a one-off accident, or perhaps even an intentional mint error that escaped into circulation, which in itself adds a mysterious allure, since intentional errors, when proven, tend to create heated debates in the numismatic community, with some arguing they should not be valued as highly, while others embrace them as fascinating relics of mint history. And as we explore the possibilities, we also have to understand how collectors verify such coins, because the path from strange penny to multi-million-dollar rarity involves a meticulous authentication process, starting with physical examination under magnification to identify doubling, die cracks, or misalignment, followed by precise weight measurement to detect wrong planchets, then metallurgical analysis to determine exact composition, and finally professional grading by trusted organizations like PCGS or NGC, where a coin is encapsulated, graded, and certified as genuine, giving it legitimacy in the market. And for a coin like this to reach $18 million, it would likely be graded at the highest levels of mint state preservation, perhaps MS 68 or higher, with flawless surfaces except for the mint-induced errors. And this is where rarity intersects with condition, because while minor errors can be found in circulated coins, finding such an error in pristine, uncirculated condition is exponentially rarer. And for the 1997 D penny to achieve this valuation, the supply must be limited to perhaps a single known specimen or a tiny handful, making competition among wealthy collectors fierce. And stories abound of private auctions where such coins are fiercely bid upon, sometimes by anonymous collectors who see these coins not only as pieces of history but also as unique investments, since their rarity and desirability can push prices upward over time. And speaking of desirability, it's important to remember that coin values are not static. They fluctuate with collector demand, public awareness, and market trends, and sometimes a coin's value skyrockets after it gains media attention or is featured in a high-profile sale, which might well be the case here, with the 1997 D penny's fame perhaps spreading through numismatic publications, online forums, and even mainstream news outlets. sparking a frenzy among those hoping to find one, and this brings us to the idea that you could, theoretically, still find one of these in circulation today, however slim the chances, which adds to the excitement for everyday people checking their pocket change, looking for doubled letters in Liberty or the date, inspecting the mint mark for signs of repunching, examining the rim for clips, or weighing it to see if it's heavier than the standard 2.5 grams, and while the odds are astronomically low, it's precisely that dream, that possibility, that keeps people searching, much like buying a lottery ticket but with the thrill of history in your hands. And if we take a step back, we can appreciate how coins like this connect us to a much larger narrative, one that spans over a century of Lincoln cent production, from its debut in 1909 with wheat ears on the reverse, through the memorial reverse years, and into the modern shield design, with each transition bringing its own varieties, errors, and rarities, and the 1997 D penny stands as a perfect example of how even the most unassuming year can hide a numismatic treasure, reminding us that extraordinary value can be found in the smallest, most overlooked places. So as we wrap this incredible journey through the world of mint errors, coin grading, and collector passion, remember that the story of the $18 million 1997 D penny isn't just about money, it's about curiosity, attention to detail, the thrill of discovery, and the deep connection between history and the objects we use every day. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the lucky person to spot something unusual in your change, send it off for authentication, and find yourself holding a piece of history worth a fortune. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and your sense of adventure alive, because you never know when the next legendary coin might find its way into your hands. And if you enjoyed exploring this incredible story with us today and want to hear more about the rarest, most valuable coins ever struck, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next numismatic adventure we uncover. Next. Today we are going to unravel the remarkable story of the 1989 1-cent coin that has been valued at a jaw-dropping $8 million due to a unique combination of minting errors, rare mistakes, and extraordinary preservation, making it one of the most coveted modern pennies in history. And as we explore this fascinating piece, you will see how a humble copper-plated zinc cent, struck over 3 decades ago, could rise from ordinary circulation to legendary status in the coin-collecting world. And the journey begins with understanding the background of the 1989 Lincoln cent itself, part of the long-running Lincoln cent series first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, with the obverse designed by Victor David Brenner featuring the profile of President Lincoln facing right, the inscriptions Liberty and I in God We Trust, and the date 1989, while the reverse at that time still featured the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, which had been used since 1959. Now the 1989 1 cent was minted in enormous quantities, with billions produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and the sheer volume means that most 1989 pennies are worth only face value, but in rare instances, something unusual happens at the mint that creates an error coin unlike any other, and those errors, when dramatic and paired with top condition, can make the coin worth millions, and in the case of the 1989 1 cent valued at $8 million, it is believed to possess a stunning and extremely rare combination of errors that makes it virtually one of a kind. Now minting errors come in many forms, from the more common minor anomalies like small die cracks or slight off-center strikes, to the incredibly rare major errors such as double die obverse or reverse, broad strikes, die caps, wrong planchet strikes, and multiple striking errors combined. And one possible scenario for this 1989 penny's extreme value is that it was struck on a copper planchet left over from pre-1982 production instead of the usual copper-plated zinc planchet, giving it a weight of 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, and this wrong planchet error instantly sets it apart. But in addition, if the coin also displays a dramatic double die obverse where the date 1989, Lincoln's profile, and the word Liberty are clearly doubled and visible to the naked eye, collectors go wild for such dramatic doubling because it is both visually striking and historically significant, especially if it occurred on a year not typically known for major double dies. Now imagine that this coin also has a significant off-center strike of around 40 to 50%, creating a large crescent-shaped blank area where the design did not fully strike, and perhaps it also has a broad strike where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking failed, allowing the metal to spread beyond its normal diameter, giving it a warped, disc-like appearance. Each of These errors individually can make a coin rare and valuable, but to have them all in combination is almost unheard of, and when such a specimen is discovered in pristine, uncirculated condition, perhaps even in a high mint state grade like MS-68 or MS-69, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic find. And the story gets even more intriguing when we consider the possibility of a mule error, where the obverse die of a 1989 penny was accidentally paired with the reverse die of another denomination, such as a dime or a foreign coin. This type of error is so rare that only a handful have ever been documented in U.S. coinage, and such a pairing would send the value into the stratosphere. But beyond the technical errors, the provenance and discovery story also play a major role in the value. Perhaps this coin was pulled from a fresh mint bag before it ever entered circulation, discovered by a mint employee or a sharp-eyed collector at a bank, and then preserved flawlessly for decades in a controlled environment, allowing it to retain its original luster and strike sharpness. When such a coin is authenticated by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC, encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder, and given a certification that confirms its errors and condition, it immediately becomes a trophy piece for the world's top collectors, and competition for such a coin is fierce, often leading to private sales or high-profile auctions where millionaires and even billionaires bid aggressively to secure it. And while some may question how a single cent can be worth $8 million, the answer lies in the perfect storm of extreme rarity, undeniable authenticity, eye-catching errors, and the passionate demand of collectors who want to own the best of the best. And like fine art, rare coins of this caliber are not just currency, they are historical artifacts, tangible connections to the inner workings of the U.S. Mint, and symbols of the fascinating unpredictability of mass production. And while the 1989 penny in question may be locked away in a private collection today, the fact that it exists inspires countless others to check their change, examine their pennies under magnification, weigh them for unusual planchet compositions, and search for doubled letters, off-center designs, and clipped edges, because history has shown that incredible rarities sometimes slip into circulation unnoticed, waiting for a sharp eye to spot them. And the beauty of this hobby is that anyone can make such a discovery, whether you are a lifelong collector or someone who just happened to take a closer look at a coin before spending it. And so the tale of the $8 million 1989 1 cent is not only a story of minting errors and rarity but also a reminder of the thrill of discovery, the patience required to search, and the rewards that can come to those who pay attention to the smallest details. And as we wrap up this deep dive into one of the most extraordinary pennies ever struck, keep in mind that the next time you get change back from a store, you might just be holding history in your hand. So keep looking, keep learning, and keep the excitement alive, because the world of rare coins is full of surprises waiting to be uncovered. And if you enjoyed this incredible story and want to explore more legendary coins and their fascinating backstories, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss our next adventure into the hidden treasures of everyday money. Today we're going to talk about one that has captured the attention of collectors, treasure hunters, and numismatic enthusiasts all over the world, the astonishing 2013 D. Lincoln 1 cent coin, a humble penny minted in Denver that, due to a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and sheer collector demand, has been known to reach an unbelievable market value of up to $2 million, a sum so extraordinary that it turns an everyday object into a piece of history and an artifact of immense financial and cultural significance. And to truly understand why this coin commands such a staggering price, we need to explore the fascinating details behind its creation, the intricate minting process that occasionally produces anomalies, the types of errors that can occur, the rarity factors that drive collectors into bidding wars, and the stories of those lucky enough to have stumbled upon such treasures in their everyday change, starting with the fact that the 2013 D penny was part of the Shield reverse design series that had been introduced in 2010 to replace the bicentennial Lincoln reverse designs, with the Denver Mint producing hundreds of millions of them that year, most perfectly ordinary and worth just 1 cent. Yet within this sea of common coins a small handful emerged with mistakes so unusual that they defy the odds. And the first thing to know is that mint errors can happen at various stages of coin production, from the preparation of the planchets to the striking of the design by the dies, to the final inspection and distribution process. And in the case of the most valuable 2013 D pennies, it's believed that some of the most striking errors involve double dies, where the design elements such as the date, mint mark, or parts of Lincoln's portrait appear doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. And when this doubling is dramatic and visible to the naked eye, it becomes an instant draw for collectors who value both the rarity and the visual distinctiveness of the piece. Another type of error that can make a 2013 D penny incredibly valuable is the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly seated in the collar during striking and part of the design is missing or shifted, with the most dramatic and sought-after examples being those that retain a full visible date and mint mark despite the misalignment. Because without these identifiers the coin's provenance becomes harder to prove, and then there are the die break or cut errors, where cracks or breaks in the die cause raised, blob-like areas of extra metal to appear on the coin's surface, sometimes obscuring parts of the design and creating a one-of-a-kind appearance, with major die breaks often becoming centerpieces of advanced collections. But one of the rarest and most fascinating possibilities with the 2013 D penny is a wrong planchet error, where the coin is struck on a piece of metal intended for another denomination, such as a dime planchet, which is smaller and made of a different composition, resulting in a lightweight, undersized penny that immediately draws attention for its odd appearance and unusual metallic ring when dropped, and in a few instances coins have even been discovered struck on foreign planchets, a phenomenon that can occur when leftover blanks from foreign contracts are accidentally fed into the presses, creating hybrids that are exceedingly rare and highly prized, adding another layer of intrigue to the 2013 DS potential variations. And when you combine these physical anomalies with the fact that modern era coins from the last few decades are often saved in pristine uncirculated condition by vigilant collectors, the competition for the very best examples can drive prices into the stratosphere, especially when coins are certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC at the highest possible grade levels like MS68 or MS69 with full red coloration and flawless surfaces. And because the number of such coins in existence is often tiny, sometimes only a few specimens known, when one surfaces in the market it can spark intense bidding wars, pushing the final sale price into the realm of luxury real estate, rare art, or high-end sports cars, which is why stories of 2013 D pennies selling for hundreds of thousands or even millions are not just urban legends but reflections of real-world auction results for extraordinary coins, and beyond the tangible aspects of rarity and condition. There's also the intangible allure of owning something so scarce and historically significant, a direct product of the United States Mint's operations that somehow slip through layers of quality control to become a unique numismatic artifact, and for some collectors this emotional connection is worth paying an extraordinary premium, as it represents both a link to America's history and a tangible piece of a fascinating hobby. And while the majority of 2013 D pennies will never be worth more than their face value, the very existence of such rare era varieties keeps people checking their pocket change, sifting through coin rolls, and attending coin shows in the hopes of making the next great discovery. And the possibility of finding such a treasure is heightened by the fact that era coins are often dispersed into general circulation unnoticed, meaning that your next grocery store transaction or bank withdrawal could conceivably bring you face to face with a fortune, and the thrill of the hunt is amplified by the countless varieties of errors that could exist but have yet to be discovered, from subtle die clashes where elements of one side's design are faintly visible on the other, to dramatic broad strikes that result in oversized coins without proper rims, each of these anomalies telling its own unique story about the moment it was created in the coining press. And to fully appreciate the $2 million price tag of the most spectacular 2013 D penny, one must also consider the dynamics of the numismatic market itself, where scarcity, condition, demand, and historical significance intersect to create value, and this market is influenced not just by seasoned collectors but by investors, speculators, and even museums seeking to preserve these modern marvels for future generations, creating an environment where a tiny copper-plated zinc disc can be worth more than a mansion. And it's worth noting that the Denver Mint has its own unique history and reputation among collectors, with certain years and issues producing disproportionately high numbers of notable errors, leading to a kind of mystique about the D Mint mark that adds to the desirability of certain finds. And when you put all of this together, the rarity of certain minting errors, the pristine condition of a few surviving examples, the intense competition among collectors, and the historical and emotional significance of the coin, it's no wonder that the 2013 D Lincoln cent has become a modern numismatic legend, a testament to the fact that even in an age of high-tech minting equipment and rigorous quality control, the human and mechanical elements involved in coin production can still produce anomalies that defy expectations and create treasures beyond imagination. So as you listen to this story, keep in mind that while the odds may be slim, the possibility is very real that a simple penny in your pocket could hold a secret fortune, and if that penny happens to be a rare 2013 D with the right combination of errors, grade, and eye appeal, you might just be holding $2 million in the palm of your hand, and that thought alone is enough to inspire a whole new generation of collectors to start searching, examining, and dreaming about what might be waiting in the next handful of change they receive. So keep looking, keep learning, and keep believing in the magic of numismatics, because history shows that sometimes lightning really does strike in the form of a small, shiny coin that can change your life forever. And if you've enjoyed diving into the fascinating story of the 2013 D penny and want to hear more incredible tales of rare coins, unexpected treasures, and the amazing history behind the change in your pocket, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another adventure into the hidden fortunes of everyday currency.